Hi guys, sorry to interrupt your video. Just a quick plea, subscribe to my channel please. If you haven't done it already, subscribe. Tell your friends, subscribe. Thanks. Why are vehicles fitted rear fog lights? So that you can be seen in poor visibility. To make them more visible in thick fog. There you go. That's poor visibility, thick fog. What will happen if you use rear fog lights in good conditions? You will dazzle people. It's bright light firing in somebody's eyes. There you go, they'll dazzle other drivers. Yep. Remember, 100 meters. It's a question. In fact, it's a theory question that you get asked at the beginning of the driving test. So when you go for your practical test, they ask you that question. When may you overtake another vehicle on the left in a one-way street? So let's have a look at these. So you've got when approaching a motorway slip road when you'll be turning off. No, because it says you're approaching a motorway slip road. You can actually do it when you're on the slip road, but not when you're approaching the slip road, because if you're still approaching the slip road, you're still on the main carriageway. And you're not supposed to, recommendation, you're not supposed to pass on the left unless in a one-way street when the vehicle in front of you is indicating to turn right, i.e. you know, if somebody was turning into their driveway you could pass them on the left, of course, or in built up traffic. So let's say you're on the motorway and there's lots of traffic around. If the left hand lane happens to be travelling faster than all the others, then you may keep up with the flow of traffic. But when does traffic become built up traffic? There's no measurement on that, so therefore you just got to think, well, okay, this is rush hour, traffic is flowing but the left hand lane is travelling faster, therefore you don't worry about passing on the left in that instance. But in this lot, it's a one-way street. Which lights must you use if you're driving on a well-lit motorway at night? You use dipped headlights, because street lighting, or you know, lit motorways become unlit motorways real quick, and it's a fast-moving road, so therefore when you're driving at night you should use your headlights. Side lights are just little lights, they're not, so people can't really see you very well. Use rear fog lights? No, because you'd be blinding people. Use front fog lights? No, because you'd be dazzling people again. Alright, so it's headlights. It's night time, you drive with headlights on. Why is it dangerous to leave rear fog lights switched on after fog has cleared? Any ideas, gang? Oh, I'm dazzled. It may be confused with a brake light? Well, it could be, because it is the same brightness as a brake light. It's the same 5 watts light bulb. The bulbs would fail. Electrical system could be overloaded? Not really. Direction indicators may not work. Nah, they're not even related. You've got a bright red light on the back of the car, so therefore it could be confused with a brake light, couldn't it? Because that is also a bright red light on the back of the car. So if your rear fog lights are left on when it isn't foggy, the glare makes it difficult for other road users behind to know whether you're braking or if you've just forgotten to turn off your rear fog lights. This can be a particular problem on wet roads and on motorways. If you leave your rear fog lights on at night, road users behind you are likely to be dazzled, and this could put them at risk. You could well be fined by the police if you drive with your fog lights on. 100 meters. Hey, thank you. What will affect your vehicle's stopping distance? Right. The speed limit, street lighting, the time of day, the condition of your tyres. Yeah, out of that lot, obviously it's going to be conditions. Well, it's basically the condition of the driver. So are you tired, drugged, whatever would affect the cognitive ability of the driver, and whatever is connecting the wheels to the floor. So it could be the road surface, the temperature. The colder it is, the less grip you get. The quality of your tyres, how much tread you have on the tyres, and of course the brakes, because those are the things that you use to stop. So it's any of those combinations. When it's talking about what will affect your stopping distance, I'm thinking of all the bits that connect to the floor and anything built into that. Was it the person that pushed the pedal? Is it the way the pedal behaves, as in the brakes going on? Or is it the tyres because they touch the floor? Or is it the floor itself? So if you've got gravel, for instance, that would affect your stopping distance as opposed to smooth concrete. So those are the things that would affect you. So just look for a combination of stuff. And there. Right, when may you overtake another vehicle on their left? Ooh, we've talked about this. One-way street, when they're turning right, or queues of traffic, built-up traffic. So there you go, there's a one-way street. Oh, it's the same question as we had earlier, isn't it? Because they're idiots. Right, why is travelling in neutral for long distances known as coasting? Bad driving technique. It will cause the car to skid? Well, it might, but unlikely. It will make the engine stall? No, it won't. It will make the engine will run faster? No, it won't. There won't be any engine braking. There you go. I'll friend the engine braking. Why should you test your brakes after this hazard? Ford, river, stream, driving through water, your brakes are wet. Boom. Have some of that. Hey, thank you. What will happen to your car when you drive up a steep hill? Okay. So higher gears will pull better. That would be lower. Steering will feel heavier. No, it won't. Engine will work harder. Yes, it will. As we discussed earlier. What should you do when you meet an oncoming vehicle on a single track road? Find a lay-by on the left. That's what you do. Stop at a passing place. There, yeah, that's a good one. Stop at a passing place. There you go. So reverse back to the main road. Well, you know, only if you're... Well, no, you don't go back to a main road because you're not supposed to reverse out onto a main road. Rule 201. Carry out an emergency stop. Well, it depends on how fast you're all travelling, isn't it? But I wouldn't just naturally perform a emergency stop. Stop at a passing place. Yes, I would definitely do that. Switch on my hazard warning lights. Why? I'm only pulling over to let somebody through. So take care when using single track roads. It can be difficult to see round bends because of hedges or fences. So expect to meet oncoming vehicles and horses and pedestrians and cyclists. Drive carefully and be ready to pull in or stop opposite a passing place. Or stop opposite a place where they could pull into one. You've got to look up the road and see what's available. What will happen if you hold the clutch pedal down or roll in neutral for too long? It will use more fuel. Technically it will, but that's not what they're getting at. It will cause the engine to overheat. No, it won't. It will reduce your control. Yes, it will, because you can't accelerate and you can't brake as well. Why is it bad technique to coast when you're driving downhill? It's like deja vu. Your vehicle will gain speed because you don't have engine braking.
I think he said that before. I think they're just repeating the same question.
Coasting is when you allow the vehicle to freewheel in neutral or with the clutch pedal depressed. When travelling downhill, this will cause the vehicle to gain speed more quickly as you lose the benefits of engine braking. It may even lead to loss of control. You shouldn't coast, especially when approaching hazards such as junctions or bends when travelling downhill. And the reason what they're talking about there is if you're in a gear and you take your foot off the accelerator, the engine naturally tries to go back to idle, which naturally means that it tries to slow the car down as well. When you approach a corner, you want to slow the car down, but then you actually should get on the accelerator to maintain a speed, not accelerate, but to maintain a speed as you enter a corner and go through it, and then you accelerate as you come out of the corner. So technically, you should be on the accelerator as you enter a corner. Technically, most people are actually on the brake pedal, which is the wrong pedal.
Interesting.
But you should brake more, get onto the accelerator, drive and maintain, and then accelerate out. But of course, if you're not in any gear, how on earth can you drive?
Well, I just don't know.
So you've got to be in a gear, so don't coast. What must you do when you're overtaking a car at night? Well, make sure you don't dazzle other road users. We've done this one before.
Oh, I'm dazzled. Oh, I'm overcome.
When you overtake another vehicle on the left in a one-way street.
You're not wrong.
Or when they're indicating to turn right, or when built up traffic and the left-hand lane is travelling faster than the right.
God, he's good.
When will you feel the effects of engine braking? Ahaha! When you take your foot off the accelerator and you're in gear, the engine will slow down. If you went down a gear, you'd get a second load of engine braking because the revs would come back up and then they would drop again. So you get more engine braking if you go down a gear. But basically, engine braking is when you take your foot off the accelerator and you are in gear and you are above idle. But again, go and work out, go and watch the video about how a car works. So when will you feel the effects of engine braking? When you only use the parking brake? No, that's the handbrake. You wouldn't do that. When you're in neutral? No, because you're not in any gear. When you change to lower gear? Yes, you will feel the effects. lower gear equals higher revs. The more revs you have, the more engine braking you get. When you change to a higher gear, no, because if you go to a higher gear, you get lower revs, and if you've got lower revs, you've got less engine braking. So, picking the correct gear will gain you control over the car.
Much obliged, young man.
And it looks like the final question, when may you wait in a box junction?
Haven't we heard this already?
When your exit is clear and you are prohibited from turning right because of oncoming traffic.
Thanks.
So, when you're stationary in queue traffic, no. When approaching, no. When approaching zero, no. When oncoming traffic prevents you from turning right. Yes. Oh, and remember what I said earlier, it's not, the rule isn't that you're not allowed to stop in the box. The rule is that you're not allowed to enter the box unless your exit is clear. 100%. Boom! I've summarized.
Nice.
Good. Hope that helps. But remember, refer to the other videos that I've made. A lot of the questions in here are already explained in previous videos. Thanks.